Eataly. Let's do a final summation of my experience there at Eataly. So the old coot here coming at you with another exciting video. If you saw the videos just prior to this one, I kind of did little snippets and tidbits of like my experience at Eataly today. It was my first time ever going there, and I just wanted to know what it was all about. Pros and cons, and I'm going to just intermingle them and kind of talk about them back and forth and all that good stuff. One of the pros, Drew, in the wine, spirits, and liqueur department there, I'll say this much. I'm not a wine person, but if you like wine, oh my God, there's like thousands of bottles of wine there that you might want to look into. Me specifically, I was on a mission today to try to find some of the more lesser known Amati, right? Amati plural of the Italian Amaro kind of line. And Drew was really helpful with that. Like this was 50% off. What a steal, for the price that you pay. I'll do a separate video on just the liqueur experience that I had today at Eataly. But, this one, like kind of a little more harder to find at some of your local, like big box, Total Wine, that kind of vibe, like Bevmo, those kind of places. But they had it there at Eataly, which is kind of nice. This one, the Lazzaroni, is an amazing one. This is another Amaro. Like I said, I'll go into that in another video right after this one, so check that out. But let's just talk about the overall experience. So let's say you're a tourist, you're visiting from out of town. Maybe you're a local resident and you're like tourist for a day and you want to know what Eataly is like. Like if you live in different parts of Los Angeles, you're like, hey, let me go into Century City, right? Let's say this was Santa Monica Boulevard. This is west and this is east, right? So north would be this way. Eataly is in the eastern corner of the Westfield Century City Mall. So let's say this whole thing was the Century City Mall. It's closer to Macy's. So if you're coming into let's say the 405 freeway is right here. When you go into Eataly, pass the first street, right? You can almost pass the middle driveway and go to the end, or you could just go in the middle, but just make sure you head like in this direction towards Macy's. You're on the right track. Also, try to go up to the third level parking, P3, just so that you're at the right level to enter Eataly and have that experience. So you kind of have that experience. The second floor of Eataly is where I believe the gelato shop is, if I don't make a mistake, if I remember correctly. And then the third floor is where like the main market is. So if you're a tourist, you're visiting from out of town, you're kind of just looking to see what this is all about. Those are some of the pros, right? Some of the pros are like, you're also going to get an experience of like a modern Italian deli / market. So there's like different kiosks, right? And I set these bottles up to kind of represent that. You have like a cheesemonger, then you have like a fish meat monger, then you have someone who does pizza, right? So they cook the pizza right there and they've got it all laid out, different pizzas. If you go and look at the videos I posted just prior to this, being as positive as I could be on the spot doing those videos, there was so much music in there. And I was afraid of getting licensing copywriting issues with some of the YouTube content stuff. So I hope most of those videos get posted, but check out the videos prior to this and you'll kind of see those. But when if you're visiting from out of town, you're a tourist for the day, whatever, when you get there on the third floor, you'll find this massive market, contemporary market. And there's like not only the cheesemonger, but there's also like cheese in sections, like in those refrigerated cases. So you could kind of buy what you want if you know what you want, or you can go to the cheesemonger and kind of look at some of the ones that they have in their case, that kind of vibe. Same thing with the cold cuts. There is like a cold cut person, and then there's also like pre-sliced cold cuts that are in the refrigerated section or whatever. And the market's huge. You're going to get a lot of quantity, a lot of variety, that kind of stuff. So another pro is, let's say you are visiting from out of town, right? You do get 1 hour of free parking at Eataly. And then basically after that, like 1 hour and 1 minute up to 20 minutes past that, it's a flat $4 for that 20 minutes. Then every 20 minutes after that 1 hour and 20 minutes or 1 hour and 21 minutes onward, every 20 minutes is $2. That's basically the way the parking works. So just be aware of that. And I think the maximum daily is like $32. So if you're going to be there a while, like if you're going to go to Eataly and then go to the other places in the mall, just be prepared that if you're there for, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours or whatever, like if you're going to make a day out of it, there's a $32 maximum parking thing. This is as of April 2024. Okay. So some of the other pros, there are 3 restaurants that are in Eataly, like within Eataly. Like Eataly is just a little tiny corner of the entire mall. But if you are going to go to one of those 3 restaurants, I liked La Pizza and La Pasta. I think that's what it was called. And that seemed to be the best of the 3 restaurants. There is one right next to La Pizza Pasta that's called Capri. That's kind of like a little more fancier than the other one is, right? And don't get me wrong, La Pizza Pasta is kind of fancy schmancy to begin with. I mean, we were in there like shorts and t-shirts, right? Shorts and jeans, or jeans and t-shirts. You kind of get the idea. Capri is kind of more like, okay, now you're looking at dressing up a little bit. Like even for lunch. We were there for lunch, but even for lunch. If you go upstairs to what is like the 4th floor, I guess, if you go upstairs, there's a steakhouse up there, kind of on the pricier side. It's a steakhouse, go figure. You're going to get your dry aged beef up there and like grilled, whatever, you fill in the blank. But that's kind of what the vibe is like on the 3rd floor. So those are the 3 restaurants. Then each of those kiosks, like if you want to get a panini, right? They had that place, which was also ironically the same. Was it the same one as the pizza place? I can't remember. But there's like within the market, there's like little booths, right? Or little kiosks. One of them had pizza and one of them I think had panini. I can't remember if it was the same one. One of them has cheese. There's like a cheesemonger person where like you can sample that $48 gorgonzola if you want to taste it and then see if you want to bring it home, that kind of vibe. Then just different things all around. There's like a coffee espresso bar if you want to go ahead and get some coffee and then bring it. And then in the middle, so within Eataly, like in the middle, there's a bunch of tall tables and tall chairs where like you can enjoy the foods that you just bought and paid for, that kind of vibe. So those are all the pros, right? My total overall review of the place, I have to give it 4 stars out of 5. And the reason for that is because there's a few things that they could finesse and just kind of make better to make it a true 5-star experience. I'm Italian, so I have to give you some backstory. For me, going to Eataly, I hate to say it, but it's kind of like going to like my local deli that's overpriced and kind of feels like a tourist attraction. That's kind of the vibe that I was kind of getting from Eataly. If, in my honest opinion, if I owned the place or if I was able to talk to the marketing, the owners, those kind of people, I would just lower some of the prices like 10% across the board of everything. The 3 restaurants that I was mentioning, the prices were okay, but like some of the food could have been a little modified. Like I remember we went to one of the restaurants, a person in our group wanted like a different type of pasta. So like they had like this one pasta that had this certain sauce and you had to get that type of pasta with that type of sauce. Like you couldn't say, okay, well, give me spaghetti instead with the same sauce. They won't do it. And that's kind of like, why? You would think you'd want to make your customers more comfortable and have, that kind of thing. Then there is the parking thing. You got to figure let's say you're going for lunch. So you're going to eat there. Let's say you did decide to eat in one of the restaurants. That's a 1-hour thing right there, especially if you're like 4 people. Like just ordering your food, getting dessert or whatever, or maybe not, and then paying your bill and then leaving. That's 1 hour right there. So there goes your 1 hour free parking. Then the incentive for the shopping is like to stay there longer, but knowing that you're going to be paying, $4 and then $2 and then $2 and then $2, $2 every 20 minutes. Like you're sitting there going, like if parking is a big thing to you and you're sitting there going like, wait a second, I'm going to end up spending $32 for parking to come to this place. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So it would be nice if Eataly did like a flat validation, like the first 3 hours are free. And then after that, it's like $10 for the whole rest of the day. Like that would be awesome if Eataly actually did that. Cause then I wouldn't feel so pressured for time, like I got to be out of here within an hour. Otherwise I'm going to start ringing up parking charges at the Westfield Century City Mall. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. Another one of the pros was the alcohol, wine, spirits department, which I'll do a whole separate video on. But that also has a pro and a con. Certain things were like less expensive. Like this was 50% off, And maybe that's just an April 2024 kind of sale. Maybe it was just this week. I don't even know. But then other things, you're paying like a little bit more. There were a couple Amaro that were there that were like $10 more than your local wine and spirit shop. It's like, why would I buy it there? I'd rather just go to my local spot, or even Total Wine or Bevmo. Like, I hate to say it, but it's true. There's truth in the sarcasm. And it's like, so if I'm going to make a trip to Eataly and deal with the parking and the big parking lot, protocol that comes with all that, it's like, come on, So anyways, tourist for a day, visiting from out of town. The short, quick summary is, if you're Italian, you'll probably think this is a tourist trap. You'll go, you might find a thing or two that you might want to buy, like this, tuna, for instance. Like, me and my roommate had never tried this before. We were there. It was an impulse buy. We bought it. But something like, the octopus salad, where it was like $29.99 a pound, it wasn't all that. Like, it wasn't all that in a bag of chips. It was just kind of like there. It was like, we paid $29 for that. It was like, whatever. So certain things are good, certain things are bad. You'll kind of have to go to experience it for yourself, but it's not something like, it wasn't like the downtown Burbank video that I posted. What's it been, like a month now, where I was like, hey, it's something fun to do in downtown Burbank. You should go do that. Eataly is kind of like take it or leave it. And if you're an Italian or you're from that, that Italy culture, you'll probably think it's a tourist trap. For your average American tourist that's maybe, visiting California, Southern California, and you've never experienced anything Italian before, or an Italian deli, maybe there's not one in your local part of wherever you live in the United States or whatever, you can go and experience it. Just know you're going to be spending some money, because a lot of stuff there is kind of pricey. Like $42 for a cake and like $8 for a little like torta thing, so it's like, there's a price that comes with trying something new, and it's a touristy thing, just saying. Anyways, hope this video helps someone out there. Give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down there below. I'll put some links in the description. I'm the old Coot. Stay tuned for literally the next video after this. I'm going to go into how Drew helped me in the wine and spirit shop. We'll talk about the pros and cons of that. Stay tuned for the next video.